Waukesha police are investigating a mysterious death after someone found a body wrapped in a tarp. The scene unfolding last night behind an apartment building just west of Frame Park near North Street and Moreland Boulevard.
Waukesha police say that body was wrapped in tarp and found behind this apartment building. Waukesha police officers on the scene Thursday told 12 News the death is suspicious.
On Wednesday, October 30th, 2024, at approximately 4:20 p.m., we located what we believe to be human remains that were wrapped in a tarp in the 1500 block of East Moreland Boulevard, East North Street. The medical examiner was able to identify the crime victim as 56-year-old Carlos J. Maldonado. Furthermore, the medical examiner was able to determine the manner of death as a gunshot wound and determined this to be a homicide. The investigative team from the Waukesha Police Department developed a person of interest in this case. The suspect was taken into custody without incident on Friday, December 6th. The suspect is identified as 62-year-old Kevin W. Lychwick.
Prosecutors charged 62-year-old Kevin Lychwick with homicide and hiding a corpse. A passerby found Maldonado's body wrapped in a tarp and covered with branches 6 months later in the woods. It was right next to the apartment building.
Now that you know the backstory of this trial, let's get to the witnesses. If you missed our first video with the opening statements, there is a link in the description to it. Also, if you would like to see the full police press conference on the case, I am placing that footage at the end of our testimonies in this video. This is Glenda Rose. She is a resident of the apartment building the defendant and victim lived in. She also acts as an on-site manager of the building.
Are you familiar with a former tenant at this building named Carlos Maldonado?
Yes.
Do you know how long Carlos lived there?
I want to say 2 years.
And did you know Mr. Maldonado? And by that, that's kind of a vague question, so I'll rephrase that. How well, if at all, did you know Mr. Maldonado over the time that he lived there?
In passing in the halls, in the laundry room, saying hello and stuff like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And do you know a resident of 1512 East North by the name of Kevin Lychwick?
Yes.
Did you know him by any other first name?
Conrad. Oh, well, sorry.
No, that's okay. Exhibit 2, then. Can you describe for me what you see here?
The layout of the apartments.
Okay, and so Carlos lived in between both Mr. Lychwick and you. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
See, they did live right next to each other. I swear if this murder was over a noise complaint, they need to throw the book at him.
Now, when you are looking outside your windows, what part of the property do you see?
The back hill.
Looking then at exhibit number 19, do you recognize this picture then?
It's the back hill.
Okay. And if we're looking where my cursor is, it looks like a little hand right now, if you can see that. Did you and Mr. Maldonado and Mr. Lychwick live on the first or second floor of this apartment building?
Second floor.
So if you are watching the cursor go back and forth on exhibit 19, is that where your apartments would be in relation to this back hill?
Yes.
I had just asked you if you knew an individual or a resident named Kevin Lychwick, and he also went by a different first name. Which name did you call him?
Conrad.
Is there a particular reason why you called him Conrad versus Kevin?
He has to be called Conrad.
Was there ever a time when you called Mr. Lychwick by Kevin and he demanded that you call him by Conrad?
Yes.
Can you describe for me the tone in which he wanted you or told you he wanted you to call him that name?
It was just very abrupt and said, call me Conrad.
Did you have any kind of relationship with Mr. Lychwick?
No.
Did you ever say hi to him in the hallways?
I would always say hi.
Did he ever reply back to you?
Sure.
Did you ever have conversations or interactions with him in the laundry room like you did with Mr. Maldonado?
Not very often.
Okay. When you did see Mr. Lychwick in passing, was there ever any thought on your part that he wanted to engage in conversation with you?
No.
Did you feel ever in passing with him that you wanted to engage in a conversation with him?
No.
Do you know how long Mr. Lychwick has lived in this apartment building?
I think it was 5 years.
At exhibit number 1, can you see the driveway off of East North Street leading to your apartment building?
Yes.
Actually, that screen in front of you is a touch screen. If you wouldn't mind just kind of drawing a line over that driveway for me.
That's the driveway.
Okay. Now, when you exit out of the stairwell and you go to where you said Nathan was, can you circle for me on exhibit 1 the approximate area in which you saw Nathan? When you go up the driveway, and we can see on exhibit 1 it's slightly curved, is there a retaining wall to the right-hand side when you're driving into the underground parking structure?
Yes.
And above that retaining wall, is there a path?
I don't know if I'd call it a path.
What would you call it, please?
Broken down trees and kind of a walkway. You know, I guess a path, yeah.
No, that's okay. If you call it something different, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I mean, it's I guess a path.
Okay.
It's a walkway.
And we can see on exhibit 1, this property is surrounded by trees where it's not surrounded by roadways. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And those woods, are they thick with vegetation and brush and bushes and trees, or is it more of a stark type of wooded area?
Correct, yes.
Ms. Rose, going back to exhibit 19, we can see the upward slope of this hill. On top of that hill area, is there also still trees and brush and vegetation up there as well?
Yes.
Is there a slight clearing at the top of that hill where some of the residents might do some gardening?
Yes.
This back area here in Exhibit 19, is that open to all of the residents that live at 1512 East North?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you come outside, you go to where Nathan is standing, and what do you see?
A pile of twigs and a tarp, and then it was opened where I could see a body.
Objection. Not facts of this case. The body was found at the bottom of the hill, not the bottom of the hill, but rather at the end of the driveway.
All right, the objection is overruled. The witness can testify about what she saw. If there is additional evidence through another witness, that may be presented as well. But the answer was responsive, so it's overruled. You may continue.
Now, Ms. Rose, I'm going to show you what you previously looked at and what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 3. Exhibit 3, does that show exactly what you found when you walked out of the garage? I'm sorry, the stairwell, or something else?
Something else.
Okay, then what does Exhibit 3 show?
Well, that's not how I saw it at first.
How did you see it then?
It was opened up. Nathan had opened it up to find a body.
Okay. Now, is there on the opposite side, is that where you saw that it had been opened or something else?
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you walked up to it, you said you saw a body. What specifically did you see?
I saw the middle of a body and legs and knees and shoes.
You indicated that once you were out there and you saw this pile, you saw what looked like a body. Did anyone call police?
Jeff, the owner, did.
Okay. And did you stay with this pile until police arrived.
Yes.
While you were standing with that pile, did anybody else or any other residents, or did you touch that pile or start taking off those branches?
No.
When was the last time you saw Carlos Maldonado?
April 14th.
Of 2024?
Correct.
And since that date, then, you had not seen him at all around the property?
Not at all.
Was that unusual?
Yes.
What did you see Mr. Maldonado doing on April 14th?
He was in the garage cutting up some wood.
And then after that date, he just disappeared?
Yes.
Did you ever have any phone contact with him?
I tried.
Did he ever answer?
No.
From April 14th to October 30th of 2024, had any of Mr. Maldonado's family members come to the apartment building looking for him?
Yes.
Did you allow any of his family members into his apartment?
Yes.
Did you go inside with those family members, or did you stay outside?
I went in.
And when you went in with the family members, was the apartment still full of items, or was it completely bare?
Full.
Was one of the family members that you allowed into the apartment Talisa Maldonado?
Yes.
Had you been sliding Mr. Maldonado's mail under the door or anything, or
Yes.
You had been?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You indicated that you saw Mr. Maldonado cutting wood the morning of April 14th, correct?
Yes.
Was there a mess of sawdust left behind in that area?
Yes.
Did you clean that up?
Yes.
Do you know about how long after April 14th you realized that pile was still there and you took it upon yourself to clean it up?
A couple weeks.
In the police conference, it was mentioned that Lychwick was very organized. I wonder if these questions are leading up to a possible motive. Was there a clash with the victim and defendant over the victim's cleaning habits? Was the defendant OCD or something? I'm just spitballing here. It's going to drive me crazy until I know what the motive was.
I do not have any other further questions for this witness. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lychwick, cross-examination.
Yes, please. Glenda, you simply could not have found the remains of poor Mr. Carlos at the top of the hill there because he was not found there. He was found at the bottom of the driveway.
Mr. Lychwick, you have to, hang on, everyone. Mr. Lychwick, you have to ask a question, okay? So you can ask her to confirm her statement about where she found the body, but this is not a time to testify about what you think the other facts are. So go ahead and ask a question if you would like.
Where was Mr. Maldonado laying, Glenda?
Halfway down the hill on the right-hand side.
Where was he in relation to the driveway?
Halfway down. Almost to the bottom of the driveway.
Thank you. So he was found almost at the bottom of the driveway, across the wood from the edge of the driveway where it meets the road.
Is that correct?
The entrance of the driveway where it meets the road, Glenda.
It was not close to the road. I mean, not as close to the road as what you're saying. In the middle of the hill, if you halfway down.
But the hill is not to be confused with the hill that is perpendicular to the stairs that you took to get into the driveway when you left your apartment. Is that right?
Right.
So we are talking about then at the end of the driveway, that area. Are we not?
No.
How can that not be? Because the
Because
driveway...
the end of the driveway is here, and the body was up here. The end of the driveway is the end of the driveway. This was the middle of the hill.
Hang on. Okay, finish your answer. Are you finished?
I think so.
Okay, Mr. Lychwick, what were you saying?
Can I please have the diagram of the property again?
Sure. Attorney Thompson, can you put up exhibit number 1, please?
Yes, I will.
Now, Glenda, I want you to take a look, please. If you look where East North Street begins and the driveway ends, Mr. Maldonado was found not too far up in the area, still at the edge of the driveway.
Okay, I need to complain. Number one, why are they not showing the pictures that the court keeps referencing? And number two, can we please get a new camera angle? I'm sure the court reporter is a very nice lady, but damn, we can't even see the witness.
Not too far from the edge of the driveway, I would say. He wasn't found up on the hill that you could see from your window.
Mr. Lychwick, again, I remind you on cross-examination, you need to ask the witness questions, not testify on your own.
I'm asking you, Glenda, was Mr. Maldonado found more towards the edge of the driveway there than where you could see out of your window at that other hill near the cement stairs that go up the other staircase, the north staircase that is on the other side of our building there, the one that you came down to meet Nathan?
I didn't get the question.
Okay, hang on. You can repeat the question. Just try to ask simple questions, Mr. Lychwick. Straightforward questions.
I'm trying, Your Honor. Glenda, Mr. Maldonado was not found within eyesight of your apartment window. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, if we go back down to the end of the driveway, he was found closer to that area than he was to the top of the hill that you can see from your apartment window. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions of this witness.
Thank you. Any redirect?
No.
Well, I certainly hope that whole argument / questioning was going somewhere. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long week of trial. The state called their second witness to the stand immediately following Ms. Rose. This is Nichelle Nelson with the City of Waukesha Police Department. Specialist Nelson has gone through additional training to work with forensics. Some of these courses include death investigation and crime scene photography.
When you arrive at a scene, and let's specifically focus on a death investigation, what is one of the first things that law enforcement will do in terms of protecting the integrity of that scene?
First thing we would do is we would like to make sure the scene is secure. Make sure that nobody outside of law enforcement comes into that scene.
Is there an officer who is assigned to keep a log of everyone that goes in and out of a crime scene?
Yes.
When you are responding to the scene as a crime scene technician, and let's say your role is to take photos of the scene, is there a methodical way in which you do that, or do you just randomly walk around and take pictures?
I generally start large, and work small.
And why do we do that?
So that you can generally gather what you're focusing on so that you can see the overall photos of what you're taking that picture of, and then generally then you can focus in on exactly what you're looking at. Once we leave, we can never get that crime scene back. So we have to see the crime scene as it was when we get there.
If you are searching, let's say, a vehicle as part of your training and experience as a crime scene technician, do you just start opening doors and taking things out, or is there a different way in which you do that?
No, we would also photograph that vehicle prior to doing any search of that vehicle.
As a crime scene technician, are you ever responsible for, once photos are taken of an item on scene, placing that item into police property or inventory?
Yes. Depending on what type of item it may be, it would go into paper or plastic. Those items would stay in my care or possession until I would place those items onto our property management system, which is Phoenix Property.
And when I say placing an item onto police property, is it just a big property room, or can you describe for me what that is?
So our logging system is that I would actually take it back to the police department. It may require additional photographs of that item close up. It then would be packaged. We then create a report, and from that report, a label gets generated and placed onto that individual item.
Does the property room at your police department at the city of Waukesha, does that allow everybody inside, or are there only particular people that have access to that room at any given time?
It has restricted access. Myself, my two partners that I work with, our clerk and our two computer forensic also have access to it, as well as our boss.
I trimmed out a bit of her explaining the entire swabbing for DNA process and procedure to the jury.
When you are photographing a scene, are there department-issued cameras that you use?
Yes, we each have our own department-issued camera.
And is there a particular way that you label each photo that you take from a scene?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Mine have my initials of NMN, and then they're labeled sequentially. I save it on my computer. I upload it into evidence.com, our retention system for digital evidence. Once I know that they have all been uploaded, I then format that SD card.
Direct your attention, please, to October 30th of 2024. On that date, were you already on duty?
I was.
And were you called to a scene at 1512 East North Street?
I was.
What was the reason for that call?
We got a call that there was possibly a body.
A body?
In a tarp.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead and
finish.
finish.
Okay, under some brush.
Now, when you arrive on scene, do you immediately go to that area?
We didn't initially approach it. We saw it from a distance.
And why did you stay back from a distance versus immediately go to that area?
We didn't know if there was possibly evidence around where the possible body was.
So that was intentional?
Correct.
Do you kind of follow a path through the property so you can almost follow it through your photos?
Yes.
Specialist Nelson, I am showing you a 52-page PDF packet that contains exhibits 3 through 54. Had you reviewed the photos you took of the scene at 1512 East North prior to your testimony today?
I did.
And were they a fair and accurate depiction of the photos that you took on October 30th of 2024?
They are.
Through Exhibit 31. Attorney Thompson, are you intending to go through each of these sequentially?
I am, yes.
Okay, so Mr. Lychwick, so far, what was the number that it started with, Attorney Thompson?
Exhibit 3 through 54.
Okay, so Mr. Lychwick, so far 3 through 31, any objection to those photographs being introduced into evidence?
No, not at this time, Your Honor.
Then those will be admitted. 19 has already been admitted. And Mr. Lychwick, any objection to 3 through 31 being used to publish with the jury?
No.
All right, they may be published.
So now they are going through roughly 50 images Specialist Nelson took on October 30th, 2024. Let's hope we get to see most of them.
Specialist Nelson, looking at exhibit number 3, is this the possible body in a tarp that law enforcement was called to investigate?
Yes.
Exhibit number 4. Tell me what exhibit 4 shows.
A different view of the same photo from farther away.
Now, I'm showing you what's previously been marked as exhibit number 1 and received. So when we compare exhibit 1, which is a Google Map overview of the property, and exhibit number 4, where are you standing in exhibit 4?
I'm not sure if down here is the pathway from the driveway that we walked up, if that's the bottom of the path. I think that is.
Okay.
So I was looking up the hill, I believe.
Now, exhibit 6 obviously we don't see the blue tarp anymore, so have you switched your positioning as it relates to this pile of sticks?
Yes.
At this point, are we continuing to go further away from the driveway to the top of a hill area in the back of the building?
That would be correct.
Exhibit number 7, what are we looking at here?
More towards I'd be facing towards North Street. So once again, I'm at the top of the hill looking down.
Okay, and up here where my cursor is towards the top and middle of exhibit number 7, is this the driveway of the apartment building?
Correct.
And is that maybe one of your detectives right there speaking with someone?
Yes.
Okay, now moving on to exhibit number 8, what are we seeing here?
Another view of the pile.
And why are you taking so many photos of the pile?
Just to get different angles and just in case I didn't capture something in one of my other photographs.
What is this?
I went around the back side of the pile looking more now towards kind of like the garage of the apartment building.
Okay, and these wooden planks here, if you're following my cursor to the top left of exhibit number 9, is that kind of like a retaining wall?
Yes. They had like a garden area near the top of the complex, and there was different piles of debris and branches up there, so I went up there and photographed that area as well.
Were there any other tarps or bodies under these sticks?
Did not locate any.
Okay.
More of the debris piles near the garden area.
Exhibit number 12?
More debris in the garden area.
Exhibit 13 then, what is this?
The garden area.
Is this a pretty wide area at the top of the hill?
It is.
Where are you in this angle of exhibit number 14?
You can kind of see in the background there the apartment complex. If I draw in here, that's the apartments. So kind of looking down towards the apartment complex.
Okay. Now looking at exhibit number 15, are we still at the top of the hill here?
Yes.
Have we started coming down the hill back towards the apartment building?
I believe so.
Okay. And these logs that we see, they appear to be in a square shape. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Is this, well, actually, no, strike that. Moving on to exhibit 16, what do we see here?
I think that was the beginning of the garden area. Just a marker from my purpose is to kind of give a demonstration or a location as to where I was photographing.
This one doesn't have a number, but it should be exhibit number 18. What are we looking at here?
The back side of the apartment complex, the hill up, and if you were to look straight ahead through that, that would be Westmoreland.
Okay.
The back side of the apartment complex, and you can see the garage door that's open.
Okay, and that garage door leads out to the driveway that leads out to north. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now exhibit 20, what are we looking at here?
The top of the hillside.
And exhibit 21, have you continued coming further down the hill?
Yes.
And right where my cursor is at the top of these concrete stairs, is that a common doorway into the apartment building?
I believe so.
And exhibit 22?
Just turned around from where I was and took a photo up to the top of the hill.
Now that you have completed a kind of overview of all the different areas of the property, did you then come back to the area in which the body was reportedly found?
Yes.
Okay. Now, exhibit number 23, what are we seeing here?
A close-up of the blue tarp.
You are taking photos of this pile. Did you also observe at any point black plastic sheeting?
Yes.
Okay. When you are taking these photos, have you touched any of these branches or anything yet?
Myself, along with some of the other officers or detectives, we were starting to slowly remove some of the sticks and stuff that were over the tarp.
And as you started slowly moving those sticks off, were you taking photos as you went?
Yes.
Did there come a time where you stopped taking sticks off of this pile?
Yes.
When?
I observed twine or rope, and I also observed what I thought to be shoes at one of the ends, and I took my gloved hand and tapped the bottom, and I felt a shoe, and at that point I told Detective Condon that I felt that we had a body wrapped up.
Once you tapped and you felt what you thought was a shoe, what did you do next?
I advised Detective Condon that we needed to contact the medical examiner.
And was the medical examiner's office contacted?
Yes.
And subsequently, did an ME's office investigator and Dr. Scheel arrive on scene?
Yes.
While you were waiting for the medical examiner's office, did you continue moving the branches or unwrapping the tarp?
No.
Okay. Once the ME's office arrived on scene, what process started or continued?
We continued to remove branches from the tarp. We worked in conjunction with them with photographs and removing items. They maintained custody of any items that they thought was relevant.
There are several from here forward we are not going to be shown because of the graphic nature and out of respect for the victim.
Here. What are we looking at here?
An overview.
Are you seeing at this point any other ropes or twine that you talked about earlier?
Do you want me to mark?
I would love it if you could circle each twine that you see, please. Your Honor, I would ask that this be screen captured and marked as Exhibit 28A.
It will reflect the 3 green circles the witness has identified.
Moving on then to Exhibit 29. What, if anything, of evidentiary value do you see in this photo, Specialist Nelson?
Just some rope that's up in here.
Okay. And in looking at what the ME's office employee is holding, it looks like a regular paintbrush. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Why is she using a paintbrush? What's the purpose of that?
To cautiously remove debris.
When we're looking at Exhibit 30 then, can you start to see the outline of a foot?
Yes.
Is that the part of the body in which you are standing by, the feet?
Correct.
Okay. Exhibit number 31, what are we seeing here?
Some clothing.
Okay. Does it appear as if it's coming out of that black plastic sheeting?
Yes.
There we go.
The state has moved for admission of 32 through 54. Mr. Lychwick, do you have any objection to those pictures being received into evidence?
No.
They will be received. And any objection to publication of those exhibits with the jury, Mr. Lychwick?
No.
Then they will be able to be used with the jury.
Specialist Nelson, in looking at Exhibit 32, has the medical examiner's office and yourself started the process of, or continued the process of removing all of the sticks and vegetation and debris from the tarp area?
Yes.
Do you still see the twine that you previously referenced in this photo?
Yes.
Why not just scoop up all of the vegetation and put it in a bag so you can get to the tarp and the plastic sheeting quicker?
Because there could be other evidence that we would miss in doing so.
How long were you on scene, not only taking photos, but then also processing this particular area, if you recall?
There was hours.
What are we looking at here?
You can start seeing some bones.
35. What are you focusing on with this picture here?
The twine and the knot.
Do you recall which section of the body this particular piece of twine was from?
I do not.
Okay. Exhibit 36?
The knot.
Okay. Now, Did there come a time at the medical examiner's office where the twine was removed from the tarp and the plastic sheeting?
Yes.
And was the twine cut at all?
I don't recall if they did. If they did, the medical examiner's office did that.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did anybody on scene untie these knots?
No.
Looking at Exhibit 37, what are we looking at here?
More of the twine and the knots.
And this appears to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, a different set of twine than what we just looked at in Exhibit 36. Is that fair?
Yes.
And Exhibit 38?
Close-up of those knots.
Exhibit 39, what are we looking at here?
A different section with the twine and a different set of knots.
Is this where the head of the body is located?
Yes.
And so the rope appears to be around, you know, if the skull is in this circular part here, then the twine appears to be kind of towards the neck or upper chest area. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Were the tarps and the plastic sheeting sealed around the body, or were there openings?
There were some openings.
Exhibit 41, please. What are we looking at here?
Just a different angle farther down from where those bones were.
Now, in looking at Exhibit 41, if you can see my cursor, I'm kind of in the middle of Exhibit 41. Do you know what that piece of debris was?
We found cardboard.
Were there other pieces of cardboard debris near the body?
Yes.
Were those collected?
Yes.
Did we find any other pieces of cardboard debris inside the tarp or the black plastic sheeting, to your knowledge?
I don't remember if there was any inside or not.
Okay.
That must be how he moved the body without being detected. Cardboard box.
Did you notice, as you were processing this scene, any tape on various parts of this tarp or black plastic sheeting?
Yes.
Was the tape removed from the black sheeting that we see in Exhibit 41 on scene?
No.
In Exhibit 43, what are we looking at in this picture?
That was some glass. I know we had found glass that night, and that could be a close-up of the glass we found.
Were all of the bones then taken or collected by the medical examiner's office and taken back to the office?
Yes.
Did it end up raining at all that night while you guys were out there?
I think it started, but I don't recall exactly.
Okay. 52, what are we looking at here?
A photo of what the ground looked like once everything was removed.
And so you talked about how the medical examiner's office and yourself did not open up the tarp or the black plastic sheeting. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, why take a picture of what is underneath the tarp and that sheeting?
Just to show what was left afterwards.
And in addition to showing what was left, did this scene continue to be processed, or once you remove the body, you just walk away?
No, we continued to dig through.
Why?
In case there was items that we may have missed.
In this particular scene, were there any bugs collected?
The medical examiner did take bugs.
Okay, that was the medical examiner's job then. Is there anything else that, besides taking these photos, that you collected at this very particular spot with the body?
The medical examiner pretty much took everything.
Okay.
That night.
Okay. The top layer of the ground that was right underneath the tarp, was that debris also collected by the medical examiner's office for examination?
Yes.
Okay. Did you attend the autopsy of these remains that we recovered in the woods at 1512 East North?
Yes.
And did that occur on November 1st of 2024?
Yes.
Why do you go to an autopsy?
To collect additional items for evidence.
Does the medical examiner's office have property inventory like police do?
They, similar, but not necessarily, I wouldn't want to say like as detailed, but they have a sheet that they do give us of items that they have.
At the start of an autopsy, is there a piece of paper that is kind of like an inventory list of all items recovered from the remains by the medical examiner's office?
Yes.
And at the conclusion of the autopsy, is it yourself or whatever other law enforcement officer is present for the autopsy? Do you sign off on that or acknowledge that you are taking the items that the medical examiner's office is not keeping?
Yes.
And in this case, do you recall taking items with you once the autopsy was complete?
I don't think I took them that day just because some of the items needed to dry. But yes, I did take custody of some of the items from the autopsy.
And then once you take custody of those items, then you go back to the police department that we talked about earlier and put everything on property inventory for subsequent processing?
Yes.
And by subsequent processing is one of those potentials to send evidence to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab for analysis?
Yes.
And are there different specialized fields within the crime lab that can assist in analyzing the various pieces of evidence?
Yes.
We talked a little bit about vegetation and debris that we found on scene. During the autopsy, were there particular items of vegetation that were of significance to you?
There was some, yes.
Okay. Those particular landscape items, if you will, when you collected those, did the medical examiner's office suggest a agency who might be able to assist in the identification of those items of landscaping?
The medical examiner did not, but the state crime lab did.
Thank you for correcting me. So why did you ask the crime lab for that information and they offered it, or how did that work?
We have a pretty good working relationship with the crime lab, and through conversation of this case, they actually recommended a gentleman that works in vegetation.
Okay. Was that individual an employee of the U.S. Department of Agriculture?
Yes.
Was that individual able to give you an identification of those landscaping items?
Yes.
I would move exhibits 55 through 57 into evidence and ask to publish to the jury.
The gentleman she is referring to will be the next witness in this video.
Specialist Nelson, what is this item that we're looking at?
It's called a catalpa pod. There were catalpa pods located inside the bag and on the body.
What does exhibit 57 show?
Juniper.
Okay. So this individual at Department of Agriculture had identified the two pieces of vegetation you sent him as a catalpa pod and juniper. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
I do not have any other questions for this witness. Thank you.
Mr. Lychwick, cross-examination.
The only thing I would like to request the court to do is to provide the jury with the markings from the expert of the property, the satellite view of the property where she marked in green.
Just the one that she had up there?
Yes, please.
Sure, we can do that. So, Attorney Thompson, if you can pull up Exhibit 1 again.
Yes.
And Ms. Nelson, I'll have you re-indicate on that exhibit where the catalpa trees were and where the body was found.
Okay.
All right, she did place the same type of markings on there, so we will memorialize this as Exhibit 1B. Mr. Lychwick, go ahead.
Otherwise, Your Honor, I have no questions for the witness.
Okay, thank you. You may step down. Ladies and gentlemen, why don't we take a break at this time? We are outside the presence of the jury. Anything we need to address before we break, Attorney Thompson?
No. Actually, yes, my next witness is Talisa Maldonado, and I would like to address, please, my request to not have her testimony recorded.
Sure. The court heard this pretrial and is granting the state's request.
The victim's daughter.
The court will supplement its media order to specifically address the next witness because the next witness is a representative of the victim. In addition to being a witness, the court is going to restrict any filming and streaming of this next witness's testimony. It can be audio, but I ask that the witness not be photographed or any visual representation of the witness because of victim confidentiality and victim privacy. However, we will be referring to her by name, and she will testify as normal. Anything else, Attorney Thompson?
No, thank you.
Mr. Lychwick, anything before we break?
My name is Lychwick, Your Honor. No, I have no questions at this time except to add again that this is a travesty of justice on my end. I'm not receiving a fair trial.
And that is noted. We will break for 10 minutes.
See, even the judge mispronounces his name. The victim's daughter's testimony will be further down in our list of witnesses. I first want to finish off with this botanist who examined the items found around the body.
Name, spelling your first and last for the record.
My name is Alex Wiedenhoft, A-L-E-X, last name W-I-E-D-E-N-H-O-E-F-T.
Attorney Tom Bosco.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, and good afternoon, sir. Can you please tell the jury where you're employed?
I work in the Center for Wood Anatomy Research at the Forest Products Laboratory in Madison, Wisconsin.
He has been at this employer since he was in college. He has many years' experience in botany, which include working for the federal government. He said he has provided work for court cases about a dozen times, but only testified in one trial. They go on to review his extensive 21-page resume.
Do you know a specialist by the name of Nikki Nelson?
I did meet Specialist Nelson, yes.
And let me just back up and ask you this as well, Doctor. As a doctor of botany, is it fair to say that you're comfortable identifying plant life based on photographs?
Yes, within reason, yeah.
Okay. And was there a point in time in which a Specialist Nelson met with you in person?
Yes, we arranged to transfer the evidence collected at the scene that I could take it to my laboratory for analysis.
And when you met with Specialist Nelson, was that on November 8th of 2024?
Yes.
And you may have just answered my next question, but at that point, what, if anything, did Specialist Nelson give to you at that point in time, sir?
There were sealed evidence bags, brown paper bags with various, I mean, at the time I didn't know, obviously, but with material inside, including botanical material.
And before you received this botanical material from Specialist Nelson, did you know anything about this plant material?
The only thing that I knew was from a conversation with Specialist Nelson, and that indicating that it was associated with a body.
And sir, as far as the location where this plant life was specifically recovered before you received it from Specialist Nelson, had you physically ever set foot on the site of the murder, sir?
I have not.
And did you have enough where you were able to then physically test after you observed it with the naked eye?
Some of the material was testable. Some of the material were just the tiny broken fragments of leaves. There's not much for me to do with that. But
okay. Yeah. Were you able to make an identification on any of the plant life, sir?
Well, one of the items in there was a seed from a catalpa, and then another item looked like was probably a decayed catalpa fruit itself.
And was there a point in time in which you informed Specialist Nelson of your findings in terms of being a catalpa pod?
Yes.
And did you inform her of your findings on December 2nd of 2024?
That's correct.
And did you then have a conversation with her in terms of the vegetation that was located on the site where this catalpa pod was found?
Yes, because if you think about, now I just said I don't have a specific expertise in the abundance of catalpa, but maple trees, for example, are extremely common. So if we found a maple fruit, that wouldn't be all that interesting or informative. When we find a catalpa fruit, that means that we're going to be in fairly close proximity to a catalpa tree because those fruits don't get moved around much by animals. They don't blow away in the wind. They often typically will hang on the tree on into the next growing season. So typically you would expect to find a catalpa in fairly close proximity to where you would find a catalpa fruit.
Was there a point in time, sir, in which you asked Specialist Nelson to go back to the scene where this catalpa pod was found and do something for you at that particular site, sir?
Just to see if there was, in fact, a catalpa nearby.
And do you know whether she actually did that for you, sir?
She did.
And do you know whether she later sent you some pictures of what she had located at that particular location?
That's correct. She sent me a picture of a catalpa fruit.
Doctor, this has been previously received as State's Exhibit number 56. Are you able to see that, sir?
I can.
Okay.
This looks like 55.
Oh, 55, excuse me. I apologize. Do you recognize this photo that's depicted on State's Exhibit 55, sir?
Yes.
And there are a series of items that are hanging down from this tree branch. Do you see that, sir?
I do.
Do you recognize those, sir?
Those are catalpa fruits. This is like a quintessential kind of winter silhouette of a catalpa. Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, turning your attention to State's Exhibit number 57, is this also a picture that you received from Specialist Nelson?
It is.
Is this a catalpa seed, sir?
This is not.
What is this vegetation that's depicted, sir?
This is a little branch with some of juniper.
And again, with respect to the previous two exhibits, did Specialist Nelson tell you that those had been also received on the site where the body was discovered?
Or in the immediate vicinity thereof, yeah.
All right. That's all the questions I have. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Lychwick, cross-examination?
No questions.
Okay, Doctor, you may step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm confused because I thought he would say more about what was found on the items. I guess we will see if this comes back up.
To take up before we bring the jury in, Attorney Thompson?
No, thank you.
Mr. Lychwick?
I would like to recall Glenda Rose, a witness, and Ms. Michelle, the state's expert, Ms. Michelle Nelson.
No. You had an opportunity to ask them questions on cross-examination, so we're not recalling them at this time. And it's not your case in chief yet either. So we're going to continue with the state's witnesses when we bring the jury in. Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay. My name is Talisa Maldonado, T-A-L-I-S-A-M-A-L-D-O-N-A-D-O.
Thank you. Ms. Maldonado, are you familiar with an individual named Carlos Maldonado?
Yes.
Who is that?
That's my dad.
And were you aware of your father living in an apartment building in the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
Had you been there previously or not?
I had been there. I dropped him off there before, yes.
Okay. Now, I'm taking you back to April of 2024. Mm-hmm. The year or year and a half or so leading up to that time frame, were you and your dad close?
Yeah, we were.
Had there been a time in your lives where you were not as close as you were in the year leading up to April of 2024?
Yes. Yeah.
And in that process of reconnecting, did you guys talk on the phone often in that year leading up to April of 24?
Yeah, it was almost weekly, sometimes daily. It was, yeah.
And was your dad working at that time?
Yeah, he, for a time he was working at Amazon, and then he stopped working there, and he was trying to start his own business.
Do you know what business he was trying to start?
He was a jack of many trades, I guess, if that's the verbiage. He wanted a window tinting business, and then he wanted to refurbish furniture.
Okay. Now, when he was at work, were there times where you would call him but he couldn't answer because he was at work?
Yes.
Did you ever get a response after he didn't answer from him saying that he would call you back or anything like that?
Always, yeah.
So there was always an acknowledgement of a call that he missed from you. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Would like to direct your attention to April 13th of 2024. Mm-hmm. On that date, did you have a phone call conversation with your dad?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Do you remember what you guys talked about?
Yeah. Do you want me to elaborate?
Yes, please. What did you talk about?
We talked about my boyfriend Mark that I just started seeing at the time, and he wanted to meet him. We talked about my FAFSA because I wanted to go back to school. And then we talked about going out to eat.
Okay. Now, as far as the FAFSA, you said you wanted to go back to school. What field did you want to study?
The medical field.
Okay. And was your dad encouraging you to go back to school?
Yeah.
What would he say to you about that during that conversation?
He was always like, Dalisa, you're so wise. You're so smart. You should go back to school. Like, you would do great. I just see, like, he saw a lot of potential in me that I didn't see in myself.
You also talked about how you guys were having a conversation about going out to eat that week. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did you and your dad have any kind of routine, if you will, in the sense of trying different kinds of restaurants together?
Mexican food. We always went to a Mexican restaurant, and we would try different Mexican food. It was mostly for the chips and salsa because I'm a chips and salsa girly. So I would try the different chips and salsa. I would be like, this one's good or this one not so much. I was kind of a critic, I guess.
And that's something that you and your dad had planned on either the week after that phone call or maybe the next week after. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to do that?
No.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please place the screen on in front of the witness only, please? Ms. Maldonado, I'm showing you what is marked as State's Exhibit number 65. Do you know what this photo is?
It's my dad.
Is this a photo that you provided to my office for purposes of this trial?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 65 into evidence and ask to publish to the jury.
Any objection to admission?
No, none.
It is admitted. Any objection to publication?
No.
It may be published and used with the jury.
Ms. Maldonado, why did you pick this photo?
Because it showed how happy he was. I always saw my dad as this happy person and who loved me so much. And this is who I saw. So I wanted other people to see that too.
After you had this phone call on April 13th, did you attempt to contact your dad at all later that week?
Yeah, I did.
Did you try calling him, texting him, or something else?
Both.
Did he ever respond to any of those calls or texts?
No.
And was that unusual based on the contact you guys had been having leading up to that point?
Yeah, it was.
The following week then, when you still didn't get any calls or texts, what's starting to go through your mind? What are you feeling?
I was worried. I was confused. I didn't understand what was going on. Part of me was like, did something happen to him? Another part of me was like, did he ghost me? But then I'm like, my dad wouldn't do that. It was just, I had a lot of different feelings.
Did you have family members reaching out to you asking if they had seen, or if you had seen your dad?
I did have my aunt reach out to me in May.
Had she seen or heard from him at all?
No, and she was curious if I had as well.
Okay. Did there come a time in May of 2024 where you went to or reported to the City of Waukesha Police Department that you hadn't seen or heard from your dad since April 13th?
Yes.
And were officers able to develop any leads at that time about whether he was missing or where he would have gone?
No.
Do you remember going to your dad's apartment building and being let into his apartment by one of the residents?
Yeah.
Do you remember her name at all by chance?
Glenda.
And when you went in, or I'm sorry, did you go inside your dad's apartment?
Yes.
And when you went inside, what did you notice about the inside of his apartment?
Everything was left behind, which wasn't usual. Yeah.
Is there anything that you saw in the apartment or were thinking that if you saw it, you knew he wouldn't have just fled because this wouldn't be left behind?
His birth certificate and his diplomas.
Did you see those anywhere in the apartment?
Yeah, they were above his refrigerator in like a cabinet in a bag.
So at this point now, you haven't heard from your dad, you haven't seen him, nobody's had any contact with him. You see these items that he wouldn't have left behind. What thoughts are starting to go through your mind then? Does the worry increase or decrease or something else?
I had a feeling that he may be passed because, or like something bad happened to him because he wouldn't leave that stuff behind.
Because of what?
He wouldn't leave that stuff behind.
Would it be fair to say that your heart knew something before your mind did?
Yeah.
Over the next few months, May turns into, the summer, and we come to October 30th of 2024. Were you personally trying to find your dad?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
It's kind of embarrassing. I would call like homeless shelters and stuff, and then I would call hospitals, and then I got to a point where like I was so desperate, I started calling psychics, because I just wanted to know what happened, where he was. Yeah.
Bless her heart.
When you, or do you recall, after that October 30th date, having a conversation with law enforcement officers and them telling you that they had found your dad's remains?
Yeah.
And were you aware of whether they were found on the property of his apartment building? Did they tell you that?
Yes, because prior they told me that they found a body at his apartment complex, but they couldn't confirm if it was him, and then later they confirmed it was him. So I knew where it was prior.
When you were having that conversation and you got that notification, what were you feeling?
Part of it was like relief of knowing, but another part was like it was a lot of pain. Because it wasn't supposed to happen like this. It wasn't supposed to happen. It was painful. I don't know.
Was he supposed to meet Mark?
Yeah.
Was he supposed to see you graduate college?
Yeah.
Ms. Maldonado, what do you do for employment now?
I'm a caregiver with dementia residents.
And so is that one of the areas of the medical field that you were talking about maybe going back to school for, or at least in that field?
Yeah. It was either going to be nursing or psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now you take care of individuals with dementia, you said, right?
Yeah.
Do you work with friends, or is it like a company or something else?
So I do work for a company, but I do work with my friends as well, yeah.
Okay. Is that something that you enjoy?
Yeah, I do really enjoy it.
It's hard enough to lose a parent at a young age. I can't imagine losing one due to a vicious murder.
Thank you, Ms. Maldonado. I do not have any other questions for you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Lychwick.
Undecided. expressing my condolences for the loss of your father. I have no questions for this witness.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lychwick. You may step down, ma'am. Stating your name, spelling both your first and last for the record.
Yeah.
First name is Christopher. Last name is Bloom. Christopher, Christopher. Last name is Bloom, Bloom.
You may go ahead.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. Is it detective or specialist, to make sure I'm calling you by your right title, sir?
I'm a detective.
Okay. Detective Bloom, which agency do you work for, sir?
The City of Waukesha Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with the Waukesha Police Department, sir?
A little over 12 years.
Directing your attention to November 4th of 2024, did you respond to a particular storage unit at 1512 East North Street?
Yes.
And did that storage unit belong to the deceased individual in this case, sir?
Yes, it did.
And did you recover any items of significance at that particular individual's storage unit?
Yes.
And what was that item, sir?
There was a miter saw that had been rented from Home Depot by the victim in this case.
Do you know when the victim rented that miter saw, sir, based on the investigation?
Yes.
When was it rented, sir?
On April 14th, 2024.
And how do you know that, sir?
One of my partners recovered video surveillance from the Home Depot located in Delafield, Wisconsin, that showed the victim, Carlos Maldonado, taking possession of that miter saw.
Detective, do you know an individual by the name of Nathan Poley?
Yes.
How do you know Mr. Poley?
He resided at 1512 East North Street, Unit Number 1. He was a maintenance man or groundkeeper that would do work on the property.
And just to remind the jury, 1512 East North Street, was that the same address where Mr. Maldonado was also found in this case?
Yes, Carlos was found on the property of 1512 East North Street.
This is also the same apartment building the victim and defendant lived in.
And was there a point in time, sir, in which you had a conversation with Mr. Poley?
Yes.
And was that on November 2nd of 2024?
I spoke with Nathan on Friday, November 1st, 2024.
Okay. And was there a point in time in which you asked Mr. Poley for consent to do something particularly?
Yes.
And did you ask him for consent to search his apartment?
Formally on November 2nd, which would have been a Saturday, he provided consent to Detective Condon to search his apartment, his vehicles, his storage unit, and he consented to provide buccal swabs for testing.
In terms of Mr. Poley's consent for his unit, his storage unit, his vehicles, is it fair to say he was cooperative in terms of that request?
Yes.
And then you mentioned that at some point in time you asked him for a buccal swab. Is that right, sir?
He was asked to provide buccal swabs, yes.
And do you obtain a buccal swab by swabbing the inside of an individual's cheek?
Yes.
And by swabbing the inside of an individual's cheek, does this collect their DNA?
Yes.
And when an individual's DNA is collected, then is it subsequently can it subsequently be sent to a lab for identification?
It can be, yes.
And did Mr. Poley provide 2 buccal swabs to you?
Not to me personally, but he did, yes.
He did to law enforcement?
Yes.
And again, he provided them both consensually?
Yes.
Did you or did another officer at some time ask Mr. Poley for consent to search his Boost mobile phone?
Yes.
And once again, did Mr. Poley give consent for a search of that particular phone?
He did.
And did Mr. Poley ever revoke consent for the police to search his phone?
No, never.
And to your knowledge, was there any information located in Mr. Poley's phone that would suggest that he had any connection with Mr. Lychwick in this case?
None whatsoever.
Any connection in terms of the alleged victim in this case?
None whatsoever.
That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Lychwick.
Detective, did you ever come across any indication that Mr. Poley knew the victim, Mr. Maldonado?
Yes.
And what would that be?
He acknowledged that he would come across Mr. Maldonado in passing, stated that they would smoke a cigarette from time to time. I believe at one point he assisted Mr. Maldonado in bleeding the brakes on his vehicle. So he described their relationship as acquaintances, folks who would come across each other in passing.
But yet they did have a cigarette together and they did auto work together. Which,
yes.
Which is what friends usually do.
I'm not sure. He characterized their relationship as acquaintances.
How convenient. I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Any redirect on that scope?
No.
Okay, Detective, you may step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to remind everyone, this maintenance man is the defendant's go-to for who he says actually killed the victim.
State calls Detective Lukas Hallmark.
If that name does not sound familiar to you, the face will. His children were victims in the Waukesha parade attack, and he was a witness in the trial of Darrell Brooks.
First and last for the record.
Lukas Hallmark, Lukas, Hallmark, Hallmark.
Sir, how are you employed?
City of Waukesha Police Department.
As a police detective?
Correct.
How long have you been with the Waukesha Police Department?
Approximately 19 years.
And as a detective with the Waukesha Police Department, do you have a specific type of case that you investigate, or is it more of everyone investigates a little bit of everything?
I am assigned specifically to financial crimes, so white collar, fraud, embezzlement, those type of crimes.
When there is a death investigation within the jurisdiction of the City of Waukesha Police Department, are there times where detectives who may not necessarily only investigate homicides might pitch in to assist in the investigation with whatever additional work might need to be completed?
Yes.
I'd like to direct your attention to October 30th of 2024. And on that date was a body located at 1512 East North Street.
Yes.
Were you one of the detectives who responded to the scene that night, or no?
I was not.
Did you subsequently provide assistance in investigating who the individual was and building a timeline of that deceased individual's last 24 hours?
That is correct.
In a death investigation, why is it important for law enforcement to build that 24-hour timeline prior to the decedent's death?
Well, it's important for many factors. In this particular case, it was very helpful to go back and determine where the individual was, what they were wearing, especially with in my line of work with financial crimes, we were able to determine what the person purchased, those types of things, to kind of identify what patterns of life the person had prior to them being killed.
In this case, with the remains being discovered approximately 6 to 7 months after he was last seen, would obtaining information about those last 24 hours also help corroborate the date that the individual would have died?
Yes.
In this specific case, were you aware that the identification of the remains had been made and the individual was Carlos Maldonado?
That's correct.
And were you made aware then, as part of your investigation with your other officers, that he was a resident at that apartment building on North Street?
That's correct.
What did you do in this investigation to build that 24-hour timeline of Mr. Maldonado's of the day that he died?
So through investigation, we learned that Mr. Maldonado completed his financial transactions through Educators Credit Union. So I submitted a subpoena to Educators Credit Union to determine where his debit card was used during the course of the period of time where we thought that he might have last been alive.
And did you notice any purchases that were made on April 14th of 2024?
Yes. In reviewing financial records, you are able to determine if a charge is usually like a point of sale service. So like if someone goes into a store and they actually use the card physically, either tap or insert in a chip or a swipe, you're able to kind of determine that on a credit card statement opposed to like a reoccurring charge or something that's purchased online. So we were able to determine that the last point of sale service or purchase by Mr. Maldonado was on April 14th.
Was that at a Home Depot located in the city of Delafield?
Correct.
Once you saw that purchase on Mr. Maldonado's financial records, did you go to that Home Depot location?
I physically didn't go there. I spoke with a security asset protection manager from Home Depot, but I am familiar with that store.
Okay, have you been there before?
I have.
And having been there before, would you be familiar with the layout if you saw it on surveillance video?
Yes.
And are you aware of this particular Home Depot store, but Home Depots in general have video surveillance cameras throughout their stores?
Correct.
And have you, in prior investigations, even if it's a financial crimes case, obtained or been asked to obtain video surveillance from either Home Depot or Menards or any other stores like that?
Yes.
And are you aware, too, if Home Depot, as with any store, in their normal course of business, they keep receipts or copies of rental contracts when individuals or customers come in to either rent or make a purchase?
Yes.
And did you, based upon Mr. Maldonado's visit to the Home Depot on April 14th, obtain any paper documents or receive any of those of that nature, whether it was a rental agreement or a receipt or something like that?
I did. There was 2 documents that I received. One was a rental for a miter saw at the tool rental area, and the other one was a transaction, like a purchase transaction of items that he actually purchased there.
Madam Clerk, can you please turn on the screen in front of the witness?
Yes.
And while we're doing that, as part of your building of Mr. Maldonado's last 24 hours, did you also locate other purchases that he would have made in person on April 14th?
Yes.
Was one of those locations a Quick Trip in Waukesha?
Correct.
And then did he make a purchase at Harbor Freight in Waukesha?
Yes.
Did you obtain receipts from those 2 businesses showing what would include a date and timestamp of Mr. Maldonado's purchases?
Specifically with Quick Trip, we were able to obtain the receipts and the transactions for what occurred. On Harbor Freight, when we went to the location, they didn't actually have a physical receipt to give us due to the time that had passed. However, they were able to pull up the transaction on their computer and show us the items that were purchased. However, they weren't able to give us the exact time that the items were purchased on that day.
On the screen in front of you, I'm first showing you what is marked as State's Exhibit number 60. 61, 62, 63, 64, Exhibit 59. Have you seen each of those exhibits prior to your testimony today?
I have.
Would those be the either video or documents or screenshot from Harbor Freight that you just referenced?
Yes.
I would move exhibits 60 through 64 and 59 into evidence and ask to publish to the jury.
Mr. Lychwick, any objection to receiving those exhibits?
No.
They will be received. Any objection to publication?
No.
They will be published as well.
Detective Hallmark, I'd like to first start with the financial statement for Mr. Maldonado. How did you obtain his financial documents? I know you said that you found out he banked at Educators Credit Union, but how did you actually get this document?
We found Mr. Maldonado's debit card, and we were able to identify the numbers on the card, and we were able to submit the subpoena to Educators Credit Union.
And the subpoena prior to its submission, was it approved by a judge here in Waukesha County?
Correct.
Is that a standard practice for any warrant or subpoena that yourself or other detectives serve on a company or an individual?
Yes.
Now, when you received the financial records back from Educators Credit Union, was there a time frame that you had asked for?
Yes, there was. I don't specifically remember the large scope of the time frame that we requested, but I believe it was January 2024 through. I actually don't recall the end date that we requested it. Yeah.
Okay. In looking at Exhibit 62, is this a 3-page statement of the monthly statement for April 1st through April 30th of 2024 for Mr. Maldonado's Educators Credit Union account?
Yes.
Okay. And now when you reviewed this, if we go down to April 14th of 2024, do you see the Home Depot purchase at Delafield, or at the Delafield location that you just talked about?
Yes.
Okay. Is this what I am highlighting here with my cursor? Is this the one of the purchases that he made at that Home Depot on April 14th?
Correct.
And we noticed that withdrawal POS, which you defined for us earlier as meaning he was in person. Is that fair to say?
I mean, most likely, the POS means point of sale. I mean, there's a potential that there's a possibility that the point of sale could be included on the credit card statement, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the person was in person. But it routinely or commonly does refer to that, yes.
Okay. What did you learn Mr. Maldonado was doing at this Home Depot location in Delafield on April 14th?
So in review of the camera footage, we're able to determine that he rented a miter saw through the tool rental, and he also had other items that he had purchased, a paintbrush, an extension cord, there was some polyurethane and some other items.
In looking at Exhibit 60, which should be on the screen in front of you now, is this the receipt for the items separate from the miter saw that Mr. Maldonado purchased on April 14th at approximately 10:23 a.m.?
Correct.
Okay. Now, going to then Exhibit 61, what is Exhibit 61?
This would be the tool rental purchase from the Home Depot in Delafield.
And is this the rental agreement for that miter saw?
Correct.
Was this miter saw ever recovered from the property of 1512 East North?
It was.
Were you one of the individuals that recovered it?
I did not take possession of it, but I was there when we searched the area and we located it, yes.
Okay. Now, on this rental agreement, can you see when the miter saw was due to be returned?
It was due back on April 14th at 2:21 p.m., so it was a 4-hour rental.
And because you located it on scene at the property, is it fair to say that was not returned?
It was not.
Now, looking at Exhibit 63, what is this exhibit?
This exhibit is is a photograph of the computer at Harbor Freight showing the transaction of Mr. Maldonado's Educators Credit Union card at that location.
And we can see the transaction date on the right-hand side of Exhibit 63, and that's April 14th of 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then going to Exhibit 64, what is this?
This is a receipt of a transaction that occurred at Quick Trip, store number 527, which is located at, I think it's 1700 Pewaukee Road in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
After April 14th of 2024, were you able to see any other activity on Mr. Maldonado's educator's account or any other financial records that you got?
There was some activity after the 14th, yes.
And what kind of activity was that?
There was a charge for Instacart for, I don't know the exact amount, it was for like $100 some. And that we later submitted a subpoena to Instacart as well to determine what that charge was for, and we learned it was a reoccurring subscription fee.
So It was already set up. It wasn't Mr. Maldonado making a purchase through Instacart.
Correct.
I do not have any other questions for this witness. Thank you.
All right, cross-examination, Mr. Lychwick.
I have no questions either.
Detective Unit.
Actually, Judge, I did just think of one more question that I forgot to ask Detective Hallmark since he's still here.
All right, I'll allow Detective to be recalled because he's still in order. There were no cross-examination questions, but I'll allow Mr. Lychwick to ask a cross-examination question if it's
yes.
Detective, you may sit down again. Attorney Thompson.
Thank you. Detective Hallmark, I apologize. We talked about video surveillance, but I did not play it with you. I'm showing you what is marked as State's Exhibit number 59. What are we looking at here?
It'll take a moment for the screen to come up.
All right, it's up.
Thank you. What are we looking at Exhibit 59?
This is the tool rental area for the Home Depot in Delafield. The camera's pointing down towards the clerk cashier area. And if you look to the screen to the left is where Mr. Maldonado is standing with a cart with a 4x4 piece of wood. And he's got a darker color pants and a gray shirt and a blue hat. And then that's the actual entrance to the store. And if you look to the right, out that way towards the garbage can, that is the exit out towards the parking lot.
Does Mr. Maldonado, when you watch the video, end up coming closer to the counter?
Yes.
And is that when you see he is making a purchase?
Correct.
Okay. What evidentiary value did this video have later on in your investigation as it relates to what Mr. Maldonado is wearing in this video?
So the shoes that Mr. Maldonado is seen wearing in this video right here match very consistently the color, the shape, the formation of how the two patterns come together, the white and the blue on the shoe matched with the shoes that were located on the individual located at 1512 East North Street.
And as far as the date and timestamp on this video, is that contained in the bottom left-hand corner in the title of this video?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to play not the entirety of the video because it is 6.5 minutes long, but I am starting at the 0-second mark, and I will indicate the timestamp when I stop.
You can hear his loved ones crying in the gallery.
I am pausing at 1 minute and 5 seconds. Detective Hallmark, can you please circle on the screen in front of you which individual Carlos Maldonado is? Can we please capture that as Exhibit 59A?
It will be captured.
Now I do not have any other questions for Detective Hallmark. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lychwick, do you have any cross-examination questions?
Not for the detective, but since the prosecution enjoyed re-examining this witness, I think it would only be fair that I could re-cross-examine Ms. Glenda Rose.
All right, I understand that request. I made an exception for the state here because the witness was not taken out of order, so I'm denying the request at this time to recall the other witnesses for cross-examination. All right, Detective, you may step down. Thank you.
Finally, with this next witness, we begin to see some evidence.
Detective Jessica Behredt, Jessica Behrendt.
Detective Behredt, how are you employed?
I'm a detective with the City of Waukesha Police Department.
Mr. Lychwick, these are the physical copies of the receipts that Detective Behredt will be testifying to. So I'll let you go.
This is unusual. As the witness is testifying about various pieces of evidence, the prosecutor is showing the evidence bags to the defendant, and then she is the one opening them, not the detective.
How long have you been employed with the City of Waukesha Police Department?
Over 19 years.
Have you ever assisted on a death investigation?
Yes.
Do you know approximately how many times in your career you have?
I would have no idea. There's been a lot.
Okay.
Detective Behredt assisted Detective Stearns in Carlos Maldonado's death investigation by reviewing the defendant's spending habits and being on site during the initial search of his apartment.
In this investigation, it was all hands on deck.
And why was it all hands on deck for this one?
Because it was clearly the manner in which we discovered the body was clearly a homicide, given the bounds and the wrap that the body was covered in. It's evident that someone did this to an individual. So we knew we were looking at a homicide. We just didn't know at that point initially who or when or how. So we wanted to quickly kind of address all different areas, and we needed a lot of resources for that. We know that based on the level of the severely decompositioned body that we were already behind in our investigation, so we needed as many resources as possible to try and catch up.
And were you one of the detectives that responded to the scene that night on October 30th?
Yes, I was there to canvass the area for witnesses and statements and things like that. I was also there to check apartments, other apartments. I checked apartments' histories to see what kind of calls for service we had over the last 6, 8, 10 months, whatever it was that we were looking at the time. And then also just to conduct any follow-up that was needed afterwards.
And are you familiar with the term premise history?
Yes.
What would that be?
So in our system that we used for our reports, and every single call for service generates an address, and that address holds a history. We call that a premise history. So I looked at the premise history for this apartment complex, and I noted that in, I believe it was May 21st of 2024, that Talisa Maldonado called in her dad, Carlos Maldonado, missing. And so we didn't know who the body was, so we were looking at different facets of the investigation. First of all, where is Carlos and is he okay? And also, who is this body? We didn't know that the two were related at the time. So I was looking at premise history and also other missing persons cases in the city of Waukesha and even outside of the city. So there is a federal database for missing persons, and we were even considering looking into that before we had identification. In my investigation, I focused on Carlos.
Okay. And was law enforcement subsequently notified of an identification of the remains that were found as Carlos Maldonado?
Yes.
And did there come a time in this investigation where law enforcement had identified an individual by the name of Kevin Lychwick as a suspect in the death of Carlos Maldonado?
Yes.
Did you review a report or a CAD summary regarding a traffic stop conducted on Mr. Lychwick in mid-May of 2024?
I did. It was May 23rd of 2024.
And were you able to review a video of that traffic stop on Mr. Lychwick from May 23rd of 2024?
Yes.
Did you notice what color hair Mr. Lychwick had during that traffic stop?
It was gray.
Did there come a time in this investigation where you had in-person contact with Mr. Lychwick?
Yes.
Do you recall the approximate date that happened?
I believe it was the end of November, May 29th, possibly.
What color hair did he have at that time when you met him at the end of November in person?
It was jet black.
On or about November 19th of 2024, were you in charge of organizing a cadaver dog search of the property at 1512 East North?
Yes, I was. Yeah, so I learned that we had a resource in Wisconsin that was Canine Search Company, and Karen Corcoran is the owner of that company, who owns a dog named Moxie, who was available and willing to come out to do a cadaver search at the property.
Prior to that search occurring, did you conduct any kind of premise history of the apartment complex on North Street, specifically related to deaths on the property?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Because Karen, the owner of the dog, had informed me that the dog may hit on areas where there is previous death investigations, even if it has been some time. So I wanted to look at the premise history of that apartment complex to check any death investigations or deaths that were reported, or any significant exchanges of bodily fluid. For example, there was a stabbing there in 2017 in the driveway and the common hallway in the downstairs portion. So we wanted to make sure that the dog wasn't going to hit on something that would adversely affect the results of the canine.
Were there other deaths reported at this premises or at this apartment complex?
Yes, there were death investigations in apartment 3, 5, 1, 12, and 14, I believe. And then the most recent was in February of 2024. That was apartment 3. So that is on the lower floor, and it's quite a distance away from apartment 13, which was Carlos's apartment.
Good gracious. There is only 16 units.
Of the residents related to those apartment numbers, did they, aside from the stabbing in the driveway, were those individuals found deceased inside of their apartments?
Yes, they were.
Did there come a time then where you assisted on a residential search warrant that was executed on Mr. Lychwick's apartment at 1512 East North?
Yes.
And that occurred on November 26th of 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would that also have been the first time that you met Mr. Lychwick in person?
Yes.
Where were you during that search of his apartment?
There is a common area on the second floor, and Mr. Lychwick and Detective Stern and I were in that common area.
Is it fair to say that there was a significant amount of paperwork and documents that were located in Mr. Lychwick's apartment?
Yes. So Mr. Lychwick had all of his monthly statements and receipts for spending, as well as he could keep track of them, folded up every month. So I had January through October of 2024 in all his financials, including his bank statements and receipts of purchases from stores and gas stations and things like that he spent his money on throughout those months. Yes, I noticed that his spending has increased in certain months. Specifically, the receipts that I had looked at, you could see from Woodman's, Dollar Tree, Walmart, things like that. They included a lot of cleaning supplies, an excess of cleaning supplies, what I would say. Typically, when someone shops somewhere, they have if they go to a dollar store, they have one that they prefer, whether it's close to their home or work or things like that. Mr. Lychwick was going to multiple dollar stores, multiple Walmarts, and even in the same day, within a few hours, to purchase things such as rubber gloves, bleach, what I would consider an excessive supply of salt, flyaway spray, air fresheners, candles, things like that.
So he goes to all the trouble to hit various stores, but he keeps all the receipts right there in his home? If he is guilty, he is not a very good criminal.
This will be exhibit number 140. It is an envelope containing the receipts that Detective Behredt just discussed. And I have shown a copy of these to Mr. Lychwick. I provided them to him for review as Detective Behredt started testifying. And before I keep going, do you see the individual whose apartment was searched, Kevin Lychwick? Do you see him in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you please identify him by where he is seated and article of clothing he's wearing?
He's seated right there with the gray suit on and gray hair and glasses.
Starting with April 15th of 2024, the day after Mr. Maldonado's death, There was a purchase by Mr. Lychwick at Dollar Tree on Sunset Drive in Waukesha. Do you see that receipt?
Yes, I do. It's abbreviated, but it's long cuff gloved, a box size large.
Is there a receipt from the Dollar Tree there with you on or about the same date where he purchased Scrub Buddies heavy duty scoring pads 4 count?
I have one from the Dollar Tree. Looks like the 29th. The receipt is a little faded at 18-16 hours. There would be another box of size large gloves, masking tape that was a concern, multiple candles, dish soap again, Febreze, more air spray.
Is that the Dollar Tree located at 1230 West Sunset Drive in Waukesha from April 29th?
Yes.
Okay. Is the time of that transaction at 18:16?
Yes, it is.
And would that be 6:16 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything on there about Greenbrier Kennel Club XL heavy duty pet training pads?
Yep, it says training pad XL on there.
Or during your preparations or your briefing for the search warrant on Mr. Lychwick's residence, were law enforcement officers aware if Mr. Lychwick had any pets?
We believe that he did not.
And were any pets observed in the apartment during the search?
No.
I am next looking at a receipt from the Walmart location in Pewaukee from April 28th of 2024. Is this receipt timed at 21:48?
Yes.
And that would be 9:48 p.m.?
Yes.
What are the purchases made at the Walmart in Pewaukee on that date and time?
So there's some just regular purchases like toilet paper, vitamin D, but the thing that was a concern to me was the large latex gloves.
On April 28th, 2024, is there a separate Walmart receipt for a Waukesha location?
Yeah, so this was the purchase that I was talking to, 2 different Walmart locations within the same date and a very close time frame. This one's at 22:33 hours.
Which is at 10:33 p.m.?
Yes.
And what purchases were made at the Walmart in Waukesha at that time?
The item of concern on here is the trash bags.
Okay. Can you describe for me how many gallons were those trash bags?
That up, and I believe they were 30-gallon. They were large bags.
Now, is there a receipt there from April 29th of 2024 at the Walmart in Pewaukee?
Yes.
And is that timed at 19:12?
Yes.
Is that 7:12 p.m.?
Yes, it is.
What items are purchased on that date and time?
Size medium and size large gloves, as well as some regular household items, it looks like.
What is that, like 4 or 5 boxes of gloves now?
In looking at a Dollar Tree receipt from May 7th of 2024 from the 120 East Sunset Drive location in Waukesha, do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and is the time of that transaction 18:12?
Yes.
Is that 6:12 p.m.?
Yes, it is.
What was purchased at that time?
64 ounces of bleach.
On May 13th of 2024, is there a Woodman's receipt that you recovered?
So I made a mistake in my report. It is not May 13th. This one is June 13th. I mistyped it in the report.
Okay. Is it from Woodman's?
It is. It's the same time, 6:53 p.m.
And what was purchased at that time?
And he did purchase quite a few regular household items, food, things like that. The items of concern for me on this receipt is 3 separate purchases of iodized salt. It's 26 ounces each, so 78 ounces of salt, which is it's just shy of 5 pounds of salt, which I felt was excessive.
Okay, I had to Google this. While perpetrators sometimes use salt hoping it will speed up the decomposition of biological evidence, it actually acts as a powerful preservative.
For an individual who lives alone, a 70-ounce bottle of blue dish soap and a 30-ounce bottle of white tea antibacterial soap. And the rest, like I said, is just regular household items or groceries.
Was there a purchase you noted on May 16th of 2024 at Woodman's at a transaction time of 10:10?
Yes. Tide Hygienic Clean Free Liquid, 146 ounces, which I thought was a lot for one person. Hefty multi-purpose strong trash bags, 56 count. Simply Done heavy duty scouring pads, 3 counts. And 2 pounds total of Food Club baking soda.
Another Google search I did. I hope I am never looked at in a murder investigation. I'm going to look pretty shady. Baking soda actually slows down decomposition of a body as well.
On the last one I'm looking at here, on May 16th of 2024, was there a Walmart receipt from the Waukesha location for a transaction time of 12:58 p.m.?
Yes, there is.
And what was purchased then?
30-gallon trash bags.
In reviewing the totality of the either receipts or other financial records from Mr. Lychwick's apartment, did you notice any change in the pattern of purchases as it specifically relates to garbage bags on or about the time that Mr. Maldonado was killed and after?
Yes, so according to the bank statements and receipts and things that I looked over, there seemed to be an excessive amount of purchases regarding cleaning supplies and trash bags and things like that in April, May, and June.
With these trash bags, were you able to note whether they were clear or white or black?
A lot of them were black.
But did there come a time where Mr. Lychwick was arrested?
Yes.
And was he brought back to the City of Waukesha Police Department?
Yes.
Was he in an interview room with Detective Stern when you entered the room?
Yes.
Or what was your reason for going in the room?
I was assisting in the interview, and I also obtained buccal swabs from a DNA warrant that we obtained for Mr. Lychwick.
I do not have any other questions for Detective Behredt. Thank you.
Attorney Thompson, are you moving Exhibit 140 into evidence?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, any objection to that, Mr. Lychwick?
Yes, I do have objections to that, Your Honor.
Okay, what is your objection?
Those are general receipts from my everyday life. They have nothing to do with the murder of this poor man.
Okay, so your objection is relevance?
Relevance.
All right. I think based upon the testimony of the witness, I'll overrule that objection. The state can draw inferences from the evidence. You can draw inferences from the evidence. But on a relevance ground, I'm overruling that objection. So Exhibit 140 will come into evidence. Do you have cross-examination, Mr. Lychwick?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Detective Behredt, is it against the law for a man to dye his hair?
No.
So why are you making an issue out of the fact that during a traffic stop earlier in the year of 2024, my hair was gray. I hadn't had a chance to dye it. And then when I met you during your investigation of this poor man's death, my hair was jet black because my girlfriend liked my hair black. Why was that an issue with you?
Mr. Lychwick, the witness was answering a question posed by the state's attorney. The question was asked, the witness answered. That's the reason for that answer. So you can ask another question.
Your Honor, she also made an issue out of it in her police report.
Okay, well, ask your next question, Mr. Lychwick.
So then you seem to indicate that I'm buying a lot of certain materials, but yet you find that suspicious because I live alone. you don't know what I'm doing all of my time and if I'm alone or not. I have a love life as well, Detective. And you're well aware of that too because we discussed my girlfriend at one point. So why you're leading the jury on to believe that I'm living alone and buying pounds of salt that I don't need and things like this. It's just an exaggeration, which is quite a habit with you and Detective Stern during this investigation into my private life and trying to link me to this crime.
All right, Mr. Lychwick, you have to ask questions. You cannot testify, and you can't editorialize either. So if you have a question for this witness, now is your time to ask it.
Why would you think, why would you assume that I'm living alone and, why would you insinuate that I'm buying all these materials for my private life and that they have something to do with something they do not, the death of this poor man?
Can you restate that question? I didn't understand what you're asking in that. It was a little long-winded.
How can you come to the conclusion that I'm living alone all the time when you don't personally know me? And how can you make assumptions as to what I'm buying is in association with my private life?
Okay, so to answer your question about how can I assume that you live alone, you told me. And I am just making observations based on the receipts and purchases that coincide with some of the items that we located on Carlos Maldonado's body.
But Detective, I told you I don't live alone all the time. I had at that time a love life. And I was seeing somebody else as I was breaking off my relationship with the woman we discussed. I was already starting another relationship with another woman. I was not all the time living alone.
Okay, Mr. Lychwick, I'm going to instruct the jury to disregard any potential testimony of Mr. Lychwick at this time. Mr. Lychwick, you have to ask a question. You cannot testify at this time. So ask a question, make a statement in the form of a question for this witness to answer.
How could you come to the conclusion that I'm living alone all the time when you don't know me personally and you're not there all the time to see what I'm doing, Detective?
Like I stated before, you told me that you were living alone and that your girlfriend lived out of state. She did not live with you. There was nothing in the residence to indicate anybody, let alone a female, was living inside the residence.
Okay, Detective, but how do you know how much time we spent together?
I do not.
That's correct. My personal habits and what I buy, I mean, there again, you don't know me personally, do you?
No.
So how could you assume that whatever I'm buying is out of character, out of order for somebody to buy, particularly what I bought?
Can you restate the question?
Sure.
How can I assume?
How could you attach such significance as to connect what my personal habits are and my personal tastes are with your investigation?
Because about 4.875 pounds of salt for a man that lives alone seemed excessive to me, especially when during the course of the search warrant we did not find an excessive amount of salt. These are just observations I made that may or may not be connected to this case.
They're just observations that you made.
Correct.
I have no further questions for this witness at this time.
Okay, thank you. Any redirect?
No.
Okay, Detective, you may step down. I'll take Exhibit 140.
Thank you.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break for the day.
So far, he looks suspicious, but if I were a juror, I cannot find probable cause just yet. Now, if they do come back and confirm the body had a ton of salt and baking soda on it, then I see where they are going, but a suspicious shopping habit does not convict.
If you come across any news reports or any stories about this on social media or the news, please turn it off or close your web browser or whatever you need to do.
As promised, the following is the full press conference given by Waukesha Police Department immediately following the defendant's arrest. We will pick back up with more testimony in the next video. This handsome gentleman probably looks familiar.
On Wednesday, October 30th, 2024, at approximately 4:20 p.m., we located what we believe to be human remains that were wrapped in a tarp in the 1500 block of East North Street The city of Waukesha received a call from a citizen who made this discovery in the woods. The Waukesha Police Department, in collaboration with the Waukesha County Medical Examiner's Office, were able to collect the human remains. With any death investigation, we collaborate with the Waukesha County Medical Examiner's Office to positively identify our crime victim, and we were able to determine the manner and cause of death. We appreciate the patience of the community during this time. The medical examiner was able to identify the crime victim as 56-year-old Carlos J. Maldonado. Furthermore, the medical examiner was able to determine the manner of death as a gunshot wound and determine this to be a homicide. The investigative team from the Waukesha Police Department developed a person of interest in this case. The suspect was taken into custody without incident on Friday, December 6th. The suspect will be making his initial court appearance this afternoon at the Waukesha County Courthouse. The suspect is identified as 62-year-old Kevin W. Lychwick. We extend our deepest condolences to the victim's family and loved ones during this incredible, difficult time. Our department is committed to seeking justice and ensuring the safety of our community. The family has asked for privacy as they deal with this tragedy. Thank you all for your attention in this matter. Together we can ensure accountability and justice for all our community members. With that, I'll take a couple questions.
How long had the victim been in that location, and were they covered in twigs and branches?
We believe this happened mid-April. The body was semi-buried, and it was covered in leaves and twigs and stuff, so it looked like the body was to be intentionally concealed from casual passerbys. With fall foliage coming down and the leaves and the winds picked up, we had some good winds at the end of October there, and that kind of the Mother Nature kind of disclosed that for us. Rebecca?
What was the relationship between the suspect and the victim, and did he live in that, did the victim live in that apartment building?
Mm-hmm. The suspect and victim both resided in that apartment complex. The relationship is not known. We don't believe, other than they lived in the same apartment complex, is the only way they knew each other.
There was no personal relationship with each other?
That has not been disclosed in the investigation, that they had any type of relationship, no.
And was he reported missing? Where has he been since mid-April?
The family reached out to us in mid-April. There was an investigation done at that time. It was also discovered that the victim had an active arrest warrant. So in natural progression, the police department gets involved. We work with the family, but we're also very cognizant that people tend to abscond from justice. That was, and we're dealing with a 56-year-old male here who potentially did not want to be known or be seen by police. So with an active warrant on the system, it would have a higher level to bring him into custody if he was higher level than a missing persons case.
So there was an official missing persons case?
There was no official missing persons case. We had a person that was not seen by their family at that time, and we worked collaboratively with the family, but we were able to discover him. And it was just, with that warrant being on the system, we were looking forward, if he would have been ran into any law enforcement throughout the nation, that would have been made known to us.
And what was the warrant?
I don't have that at this time.
So Lychwick then, does he have a criminal record? Did he give you any sort of statement when he was arrested? Where'd you track him down at?
Through the investigation, there was things that were coming up. There was several search warrants that were filed on the property as well as Lychwick's residence. There was items that were consistent with was located on the crime victim. And at that time, we were able to serve a search warrant, see that what was consistent on the crime victim. We were also able to secure a search warrant for the vehicle, and inside the vehicle was a firearm. That firearm was sent to the crime lab. They expedited that for us, and we were able to determine that the rounds that were located in the victim were fired from that firearm that was located in Lychwick's vehicle.
The suspect didn't flee, he was still living in that apartment building?
Correct. He was. I'm a Waukesha kid, born and raised here, went to school here, live here. This is not what Waukesha is about, but part of my oath that I took to this community was to ensure that this was a safe Waukesha and that accountability would be handled with the justice system. Our commitment here, the diligency, the countless hours that this investigative team did for the community was exceptional. We dealt with, if you think about it, we were about 6 months behind it in the investigation because the body was concealed for a period of time. To our investigative team, it goes without saying, I'm very proud of you, the chief. Our community is very proud of you. From the mayor's office, they're proud of them because this isn't Waukesha. But I know what Waukesha will do. I'm confident in the district attorney's office. We'll make sure the defendant is held accountable and that our commitment is to continue to curb crime in our community. Jim?
Where exactly was he shot?
That is very hard to determine at this. I don't think we'll ever know that, to actually know exactly where the entrance wound was because the advanced decomposition of the body. So that's kind of what compromised us. I want to also extend to our media partners, you guys were exceptionally patient. You gave us grace and patience in this investigation. It was compromised. It was a difficult investigation. I think that's why I stand here and say we're very proud of our investigative team because time was not on our hands on this one. But they worked diligently with the medical examiner. She brought in an amazing team. We're talking subject matter experts and things that I don't even know because the words are too long to tell what titles they are. But to determine everything that went on into this investigation was great.
So how far from where the body was found to where they lived?
It was in the wooded area, just up the hill. If you go back to that apartment complex and go up the hill into a wooded area, it was thick, especially in April when all the leaves are coming back on the tree. We have spring flowers and grasses and everything's coming back up. That just added to the concealment of the deceased. And then naturally fall comes and that just kind of opens things up a little more.
So there's no way to know if he was killed up there or somewhere else?
Correct. All that we know is where the discovery of the body was made.
And who found it?
A passerby.
Did you say that he is still denying it, or that he did say?
He's not speaking to us right now.
So he didn't confess or anything?
Correct. Brett?
The gun was recovered?
The gun has been recovered. There was a search warrant that was conducted. Once we developed him as a person of interest, we had eyes on. We utilized our resources to make sure he was monitored. And in the criminal complaint, you're going to see a little bit more details of why this was, once he was developed as a person of interest, why we made sure that we had eyes on this individual for a significant period of time until we had enough probable cause to arrest. We did not want to compromise the integrity of an investigation at all. A hunch is one thing, but also we're going to let the evidence take us to exactly where we can go at that point where we can make an arrest, and that's where it was.
Did you feel like other people were at risk, or other people have been hurt by him in the past?
We believe that he had a hit list. We believe that he had information that he had grievances with others. Fortunately, those others were not local, meaning specifically in the city of Waukesha. That what prompted our urgency. But again, with the time the body was found until the discovery was made, from the time of the homicide, I should say, until the discovery was made, that compromised us. We really relied a lot on physical evidence, as well as toxicology and everything that the medical examiner could bring for us.
When you say he had a hit list, is there concern that there's other victims out there that are also missing?
No. This was the number one. Mr. Maldonado was number one on his hit list. And that's well documented in some of the information that we found in the search warrant.
Captain Bowman, is it correct
Yes.
this is Waukesha's second homicide this year?
Correct.
Were there other people on this so-called hit list, I guess, regular citizens, or were they political figures, or were they?
They were known to Lychwick. He had grievances with some people. He was a very well detail-oriented individual. Some would say he's creepy. I think we have media partners that may have spoken with him, and I think they would draw that same conclusion about his personality.
And the vehicle, when you searched it, was it just in the parking lot at the apartment complex?
No, we had information that he had left approximately 2 days after the body was discovered. He made a storage unit rental in the Appleton area. Why he picked Appleton, we don't know. We believe it was because they offered a free 30 days subscription. When that time came up, we had people, a team of investigators that were tracking him at that time. We realized that he emptied out the contents of that storage unit in Appleton. Again, once he came into the city of Waukesha, that's where we were able to make contact with him, serve the search warrant on his vehicle. That was the one piece that we were waiting on, and that's where the discovery of the firearm, which was consistent with the bullets that were found in the crime victim.
When did that take place, that search warrant then?
The first week of December.
And that gun hasn't been used for anyone else that you know of?
Our focus is on this. Since we had the rush put on it, we wanted to make the bullets were consistent with our crime victim, and then that will get entered into our national database, at which point that they can investigate further. So there's a lot of information. There's a lot of more investigation that needs to be done. I think that today is to bring everyone in the community to let everybody know that we have made an arrest. We're confident in the investigative team thus far, and they're got a lot more work to do. As we know with any trial, these take time. And I look forward to seeing him make his initial appearance today and realize that the strength of the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office is in strong support of our community. So with that, thank you very much.
He provided a good bit of information. Usually, they don't want to give out too much before trial. That will do it for tonight. I will see you guys back on Sunday night to resume our coverage of this trial. Take care.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.